Hello, folks. Today I'd like to read over some testimonials. I was a little skeptical if hypnosis could be achieved over Zoom, and I was unfamiliar with RTT. But after speaking with Gina, I was very much put at ease and felt very relaxed. Gina is so understanding. She has a sixth sense and was able to tell me parts about myself that I barely knew. And she was right about everything. The session itself was relaxing. Emotionally, I really felt like Gina understood me so well, and I was very impressed, considering we were complete strangers living in different countries. She could speak with my inner self, almost like talking to my soul. I went away feeling recharged and refreshed. I love my personalized recording and listen to it every day and sometimes more. Gina's voice is calming, and I look forward to it each day. I'm well past the 21 days and continue to listen to it. I have improved greatly and highly recommend making an appointment with Gina. Many thanks. And this is from Patty in the United Kingdom. Thank you so much, Patty, for your testimonial. I remember our session and it was really powerful for me as well. Thank you so much. Another testimonial for you. I was very fortunate to be chosen as a participant in Gina's RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, Hypnotherapy, during 2021. I was eager to try this technique as I have an appreciation for the incredibly vast power of our minds. During my first session, it was difficult for me to choose a single area of focus. So Gina suggested that we do an umbrella focus in the area of confidence. Though I was a little nervous, doing something new can be a little nerve-wracking. Gina made it very easy to relax, and I soon felt very comfortable with the process. The session felt like I was simply having a conversation with a friend. One that I particularly enjoyed was talking to myself, my adult self to child self. What a powerful experience. We challenged old beliefs and created new beliefs, which would serve me better in life. Days later, I automatically noticed my brain exchanging an old belief for a new one. I couldn't believe it was actually doing that, and I was aware of it. Just picture removing a USB, flipping it over, then reinserting it. That's exactly what it was like. Fascinating, right? For my second session, we tackled my anxiety. I was quicker to relax, and I knew that I was in a safe place. During this session, I participated in an activity called Dialogue with the Herder, which was extremely emotional and cathartic. I was able, as my adult self, to confront those who had hurt me as a child and advocate for the child I had been. Empowerment at its best. Days later, when an old anxiety causing thought came to mind, I was able to confront it rather than forcefully with an internally spoken, shut the frig up, and response. I was able to replace it right there on the spot with a new belief and reinforce that this was the new belief. And I have noticed a huge reduction in my overall levels of anxiety. For my third session, I chose to work on my issues with my weight. We focused on physical fitness as that is the larger piece that I was looking for. Weight reduction will follow naturally. We discussed what my life would be like without those issues and came up with strategies to bring my desires to realization. Since that session, I have exercised almost every day, missing only 4 mornings over 2 months. My measurements have shifted. Over 6 total inches have disappeared, and my weight has begun to reduce. I am confident in this process, and my physical changes will be both gradual and lasting. The RTT process is amazing. It is safe, relaxing, and comfortable. Of course, the real key to its success is one's commitment to the process and listening to the personalized recording created during each session for a full 21 days. I am not the same person I was when I began. I am still me, but without some of those old beliefs that were so life-limiting in the past. Do I still have moments of struggle with confidence and anxiety? Of course. But, yes, it's a big but, the RTT process has implanted new beliefs and messaging that quickly counteracts any old crap that wants to show up. My struggles are shorter in duration and milder in intensity. I still have all 3 of my recordings, and I can listen to them anytime I want to, or if I feel like I just need a refresher. I cannot recommend this process enough, and I am grateful for the opportunity to participate. This testimonial came from Monica in British Columbia. Monica, thank you so much for being a participant. I remember all of our conversations and connections, and I really appreciated you being open to having multiple sessions with me, because a lot of clients come to me to lose weight, and it was a real life lesson to me just how interconnected our ailments are. And Marissa Pierce talks about that, how when you make a session, an RTT session, when you book one, you can only tackle one presenting issue at a time. And so having multiple sessions is quite powerful. And this feel a little bit emotional. Whew, okay, I'm gonna keep going, folks. Moving on to my next testimonial here. Gina accessed information about me intentionally, locked away to forget. I did forget. And then it all came back in my session. I didn't want to remember. I didn't want to face the truth because it was too painful. Throughout the session, Gina reminded me that I wasn't reliving anything and that it's like watching a movie about myself, which is what it felt like. It was just difficult to accept that those things happened. The hardest part was accepting that I denied myself the truth all these years, and that I was also denying the child me. It was emotional, and with Gina's support, I was able to face my truth. It was like her voice picked me up and put me on some truth-telling planet. I don't know what planet I was on, but it was like on this planet, I was free to speak my mind without judgment. And whatever I had to report out, was being taken very seriously. I didn't really cry until she regressed me to meet my child self, and then I completely let go and bawled. I never cried so hard in my life, and it felt really good. I found myself telling Gina things I never shared with anyone. I cried for me, and I cried for the child within. I cried because I was able to advocate and take a stand for the child within. I cried because I could speak so freely. The child within could speak so freely. I cried because I was so proud of the child within. And I was telling the child within so many positive messages that I'd been waiting my whole life to hear. Things like, you're important, you're funny, you're smart, you matter. It was even more powerful thanking the child me for everything and really placing emphasis that if it wasn't for the child me, that I wouldn't be the person I am today. Like I said, I bawled my eyes out and it felt really good. I was worried the child me was going to think the present day me was a loser. To my surprise, I was top celebrity status to the child me, and I was the coolest person to child me. I couldn't believe how much hope and faith child me had in present day me. I think this is when I really started to bawl because of all of this and all of this time. I had a cheerleader within me that never gave up hope on me and our life. I can't thank Gina enough. My self esteem has greatly improved, and I'm always thinking about the child me. Gina merged present day me with child me. So I default now to taking better care of myself. Sometimes I don't feel like making my bed. And then it's like these gears in my mind start turning, and I shut up and make my bed. And I do it with calm, peace, ease, in a timely manner. And then I feel great. I do it because that's how I take care of child me. It makes me feel safe. And that's a priceless feeling. When I go to bed and the bed's made, I feel taken care of. And that makes me feel safe. When I take care of child me, I take care of present day me. I never thought something like bed making could be so life changing. Such things Gina incorporated into my personalized audio. And honestly, it was that simple and that easy. Physically, I'm a big man and I tend to put on a tough act like nothing bothers me. Yet with Gina, I was surprised how much I was able to let loose. I just remember her saying that I didn't need to make anything happen and to just let the process unfold. I spoke with clarity and ease. My subconscious mind, literally upon Gina's voice, organized my thoughts in a way I could receive and communicate information. At one point, I guess I was stalling, and I remember Gina saying that when she snaps her finger, that'll tell her the information. And just like that, she snapped her finger and I started speaking. It was like my subconscious mind was on demand and it was providing information. Initially, I listened to the audio before bed and found I was falling asleep. And I admit that I skipped days. I was honest with Gina when she checked in because I didn't mean to skip or fall asleep. It's just that life happened and I was tired. Following her suggestion, I began listening to the audio first thing in the morning, enjoying a coffee, hanging out by the wood stove with my dogs. I treated it like a 21-day challenge and put an X on my calendar 21 days in a row. You don't have to be in deep hypnosis to listen to the audio, but you do have to listen to it, and you need to listen to it for 21 days in a row. This testimonial was provided from Matt from the United Kingdom. Matt, thank you so much for your heartfelt testimonial. I remember our session well. And it's just interesting for me how, as the hypnotherapist, during the sessions, I keep it together and then I read over these testimonials and I feel emotional because I understand and appreciate the power of hypnotherapy, and it was my honor to serve you and others, and I appreciate how Matt and Patty and Monica were reiterating how it's so simple and we need to listen to the audio for 21 days in a row. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Some of them are longer than others. Clients were invited to provide a few sentences to a paragraph at the most. And some clients, I told them just to write whatever they wanted and I could pull from it. Some clients sent me pages and entire stories. And I'm so tickled pink. Okay, this next one is from Jane in British Columbia. Gina helped me remember the things that make me happy and bring me joy. I've rediscovered my life's purpose, and that's being an advocate for children. Jane, thank you so much for your testimonial. I remember our session together, and I remember how powerful it was and where you were at and wanting to know what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And it was advocating for children and being part of that change, being a voice for the voiceless. I really enjoyed our time together. This next testimonial is from Natalie in British Columbia. In one of my regression scenes, my mom and my aunt were talking. I couldn't hear them. So Gina walked me through a visualization where I turned my hearing dial up to full blast it blew my mind because I could hear the conversation. Thank you, Natalie, for your testimonial. I remember that. And I remember during my practice when I was acquiring my training with Marissa Peer, we would practice on each other, colleague to colleague, turning up the dial, lowering the dial on our hearing, on our senses. And when I did that with you, um, I could tell the moment it worked and that you could hear just by the expression on your face. And it made me feel amazing. And Michael Newton, he wrote a book, Life Between Lives, and he talks about the hypnotherapist developing an ego because folks will say to the hypnotherapist things like, "Oh, you're so powerful. There's something magical about you. You have a sixth sense. You're in my dreams. You're in my mind." And yeah, that does feed the ego. And Michael Newton, thankfully, reminds all of us that the hypnotherapist is a facilitator, and it's the power of the mind doing all the work, and it's the power of the facilitation combined with the openness of the client to yield their power, biohacking their life, making these amazing, amazing changes. Hypnotherapists, we are not in your head. We are not in your dreams. I know every time I get hypnotized, I always feel like the hypnotherapist is in my head because their voice is in my head. But really, that's all part of the illusion. That's my voice becoming your voice. You adopt it and you let it in until it becomes your voice. You're just borrowing my voice. It's not actually me inside your head or me inside your dreams. And if your hypnotherapist is making an appearance inside your dreams, that's powerful. But again, it's not the actual hypnotherapist in your dreams. You're in your dreams. So if the hypnotherapist is in your dream, then that's you in your dream, a reflection of you serving you as a hypnotherapist. Again, adopting an idea until it becomes your own. Again, Natalie, thank you so much for that. It blows my mind every time. Okay, moving on to the next testimonial. Gina helped me realize that my parents put way too much pressure on me as a child. It was like everything had to be perfectly figured out, and it caused stress. I got into debt graduating from a program I didn't even want a career in. I felt like I was always pushed to make big decisions too fast and that I didn't have any time or space to think. Whenever I did, even if I didn't like it, if I didn't like the decision, for example, taking a course, I would persevere and complete it. Otherwise, I would feel like a quitter or that I just wasted my time and money. Gina helped me realize these were false beliefs I developed and they were haunting me. As an adult, I struggled to make decisions because I was always anticipating having to justify things or having to respond to my parents. Not having a lot of money, I was scared to spend money. And then when I spent money, I felt uneasy. I had a lot of pressure building up in my body over the years, all rooted in this feeling of never being good enough. Gina flipped all the language to positive, and my body now feels much lighter. She helped me realize that I'm enough, always have been, and always will be. This testimonial was provided by Raymond in British Columbia. Raymond, thank you so much for your testimonial. I remember our session together, and it's so fascinating, myself included. We feel like we're not enough. And when we go back and find the reasons why we feel these feelings, it's very clear. And we find ourselves caught in a cycle. Our habitual ways of thinking tend to haunt us. And I'm so pleased I was able to flip that language for you and that your body is feeling lighter. Moving on to the next testimonial. Through regression, I remember as a small child, I was at a festival and the whole festival heard a serious car accident. Even though I didn't see the accident or investigate the scene personally, it caused me to feel scared because I had no control. I just knew something terrible happened. I was too young to help. There was nothing I could do. It was best to stay out of the way and quiet. I didn't know cars made noises like that. So I initially thought it was some kind of bomb. I just remember everyone freezing on the spot, unsure. And then when the noise stopped, people started running toward the scene. I never talk about the accident with anyone, and I've never talked about it before. I actually forgot all about it. Gina helped me realize that even though I wasn't in the accident and that I never saw it, just overhearing it, along with witnessing the reactions of the people around me, was traumatizing for me. I had no idea I was traumatized. People have been telling me for years I have anxiety, and it was empowering to discover trauma as the root cause. I can't even begin to tell you how validating this was. The anxiety was a result of the trauma. I never made the connection until my session with Gina because I blocked it out of my memory. It all made sense because since that time, any loud noises made me feel panicked. Even anticipated happy noises like fireworks got me panicky. I had a lot of pressure building up in my body, and the anxiety was limiting my life. Gina did this amazing reframe, flipping all the language around. I feel so much better, like a serious weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Every Halloween or long weekend, people in the neighborhood have fireworks. I used to hide downstairs with a movie. Now I peek out the window or watch the movie upstairs, and I feel indifferent to the bang pop noises. In my personalized audio, Gina used the word indifferent a lot, and that's exactly how I feel about it. Indifferent. This testimonial was provided by Carmen in British Columbia. Carmen, thank you so much for your testimonial. And I remember when you made that connection and how validating it was to link the anxiety as a result of the trauma because you had spent most of your life feeling like there was something wrong with you, that you were just this jumpy, panicky person. And folks in your life just kept saying you had anxiety, but no one really went back to find out the root cause. And the root cause was because a car accident. And we often undermine ourselves when we're in that exact situation where we don't see it. We're too small to help, to provide support, and we feel limited. And your session really meant a lot to me as well. And it tickles my heart pink that you're upstairs watching movies and peeking out the window and that you're indifferent. So a few more testimonials here for you. Gina made me the best audio so I could get a good night's sleep. I now have a memory foam mindset. When I do my bedtime routine, I send my whole body a message to get into the memory foam mindset. I never knew what it was like to wake up rested until Gina. Sleeping through the night has greatly benefited me. I can think more clearly and I'm a lot less irritable. I had a lot of ailments all rooted in not getting enough rest. The more I rest, the more my ailments shrink away. Thank you, Gina. This testimonial was provided by Tom in British Columbia. Tom, you are very welcome. Your memory foam mindset. I remember us having some laughs about that, and the power is in its simplicity. Memory foam mindset, waking up at your desired wake up time. And I'm so pleased that your ailments are shrinking away. Sleep is so, 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 so important. Thank you so much, Tom, for your testimonial. I've got one more testimonial for you, and this one is quite hilarious. Okay. There were so many things I wanted Gina to help me with. She narrowed it down to self-trust. It was the best thing. I come from a conservative family and wasn't allowed to show any skin. My arms and legs always covered. We never went to the beach growing up. We lived in poverty. I never wore dresses. I never really had any clothes or shoes that fit properly. I was inhibited by old patterns. I was an adult these days. I had a career. I wanted to show some skin, wear pretty dresses, hit the beach in a swimsuit, wear shorts and tank tops, buy sexy bras and panties, show some cleavage. And I couldn't do any of these things. I just couldn't because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I also wasn't comfortable trusting myself, always overthinking and second guessing myself. I had a session with Gina and she listened to all of my concerns. I honored listening to the transformational audio for 21 days. I felt better, but I wasn't seeing the changes in my life. Then it happened. My subconscious mind kicked in, and this is the story. I started spring cleaning as part of the transformation to trust myself and get rid of things I don't need. I had so many pairs of scissors. I kept a couple for around the house and donated the rest. I had a burning desire to place one pair of scissors in my car door on the driver's side. This thought made me feel uncomfortable because I thought it was dangerous to keep a pair of scissors in that location. And then I remembered to trust myself. So I put the scissors there in the car door on the driver's side. I also had a bag of clothes in the trunk, some wet naps and a water bottle. Gina and I actually went to the beach a few days prior, and yes, I wore a swimsuit. I was honestly too lazy to deal with putting the bag away. I told myself it's not a life or death situation and to leave the bag in the trunk, at least for now. A few days later, I went to an appointment. Like most of my appointments, It's only about a 15-minute drive away, but I give myself a couple of hours and I always end up running late. I miss turns, I get diarrhea, and before you know it, I'm running late. This is exactly what was happening. I was missing turns, and time was now a factor causing more stress. And suddenly, it happened. I farted. It was a wet one, a real wet one. I just knew to sit up high when it came out. I didn't even feel it coming. It just happened so fast. And I never farted like that in my life. My subconscious mind kicked in. I knew to sit up straight away. I stayed focused driving in my sitting up position. Somehow I turned off the highway and exited into a parking lot. I drove my car to the far end of the parking lot, got out, and grabbed extra clothes and wet naps from the trunk, got back into my car. I pulled down my pants a little and cleaned myself up. I had a grocery bag in the car for a garbage. I grabbed the scissors in the side door and cut off my underwear and pants. I wore no underwear. I put the extra pants on that were in the bag. I got out of the car and put the garbage bag in the garbage. I got to my appointment on time. I never felt so alive in my life. Like I mentioned, I grew up in poverty. I come from one of those families where you wear your underwear until they're practically falling apart and they're not wearable anymore. The underwear I cut up were still in great condition, and so were the pants. My goodness, the pants. Those were good pants. They were everyday leggings, but hey, they were still good pants. I can't believe I cut my underwear off and my pants off. The act in itself was liberating. I don't like to admit this, but if it wasn't for my session with Gina, I would have 100% kept those underwear, kept those pants, drove home, canceled my appointment, and stayed home hiding away from the world, crying at least for the next week. I told Gina this story, and we laughed and laughed. Gina commented that she was happy she could help me with my shitty situation, and we laughed all over again. I crack up every time I think about it. If you don't think your session worked, just you wait and see. Thank you again, Gina. That was one shitstorm I was able to handle with ease. And this testimonial came from Saria in British Columbia. Saria, it was such a pleasure to work with you, and it cracks me up every time. And I just can't believe this process. And I remember even that day we went to the beach and you were wearing your swimsuit and you were saying like, I don't really see the changes in my life, but it's like there you are at the beach wearing a swimsuit and yet you're still not seeing the changes in your life. And so, it's just fascinating what we notice and what we don't notice, and trusting yourself, and recognizing that, yeah, keeping that beach bag in the back seat, it wasn't a life or death situation. And you could trust yourself to leave it. Somehow your subconscious mind knew that you might need it. And, with the diarrhea situation, unpredictability, it might be a thing where you carry a bag with you, an extra set of clothes to help you transition. And so I really want to truly thank everybody for their testimonials. There were many more testimonials. I offered more than 40 free sessions. Initially, I actually struggled to offer one free session, and then I got a few. And I thought, well, why don't I make it 10? Then I made it 15. Then I made it 20. Then I made it 30. And then just now it's over 40. I've lost count. And I couldn't be more tickled pink. Each case is a case by case scenario. And you can see as I read over these testimonials that every individual folks' biology of belief is sacred and precious to them. And it's a belief system that only the client can navigate and the hypnotherapist can assist to facilitate, because there is no such thing as time. There is no past. There is no future. There's only the now. And so when I regress clients and we go into the past, what we're doing is we're going into a memory bank. We use the vocabulary, the past. Some people like to call it the Akashic records, where we look at your history, your record, your situation, your perspective, and it's all unique to you. And if you can find the root cause, whether that root cause is in this life or in a past life, if you can get to that root, then it's a beautiful chain reaction that ripples out healing. How you think and feel matters. Blueprinting is an incredible thing. Blueprinting is at its peak from the time you're inside the womb to the first 5 years of your life. That's why childhood is so, so powerful. And we often dismiss our child selves. We deny our child selves, how our child selves think and feel about things. We dismiss it because we tell the child self, no, 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 you're okay. That's not a big deal. Well, the child self is reporting to you that no, it's not okay. And when you tell the child self or anybody how to think or feel, you're basically telling them that they don't matter and that they're not intelligent, and that's why you will determine how they think and feel. So I really appreciate every single client. I regress them. We meet the child self. Meeting the child self is quite powerful. And insight that I've gained is the child self perspective is the ultimate perspective. It's the perspective of play, creation, innovation, ingenuity, unconditional love, always rooting for you, always the cheerleader. And when the adult you thanks the child you, for me, that's always a powerful one. And it's always powerful for the clients as well, because the child self is such a hero. The child self didn't even occur to them that they had power or that they could be thanked. And we go through these processes where the child is really empowered. So you can think of your child self as roots that are getting nourished, nurtured, restored, refined, undergoing alchemy, healing with the land. Your body is the land. Each body, it's like a piece of land that's walking and talking. How you think and feel matters so much that it creates physical ailments in your body, or it can inspire healing. Alchemy is ongoing. It's always cycling through. We're always moving forward. And we always want to embrace hummingbird, taking our high quality items with us forward only. Thank you so much for taking an interest in my testimonials. Thank you so much to all of my clients. I truly appreciate our time together. It was powerful for me because these testimonials came from clients that I practiced on when I first graduated in 2021. So they were my guinea pigs, if you will. And it's now 2023, and I'm still getting little messages and updates from them about how happy they are, how much more joy they're experiencing in their lives. And they're thanklessly thanking me. And they keep telling me things like, I just can't thank you enough. And it really was no problem. And I can't thank you enough either for letting me gain experience, because it was through these sessions that clients slipped into past lives. It's through these sessions where guardian angels, deceased grandmothers, life between lives made an appearance and became part of my story, my high quality items that I'm carrying with me forward. Thank you so much again for your time. Alchemy is ongoing. It's the beauty prayer. If you'd like to book a session with me, you can do so www.pmhi.janeapp.com. You can also join my Facebook group, Present Moment Hypnotherapy International. We've got a lovely community there. And again, if you'd like to book a session with me, the website is www.pmhi.janeapp.com. Thank you so much. Looking forward to more testimonials and serving you.